Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, guys. It is Wednesday the 20th. I changed my camera a little bit. I might need to adjust it a little bit here, but anyways, I'll tell you the story about that later. Anyways, let's go and see what the markets are doing here this morning. Charts. Okay, so E-mini yesterday, awesome day, and another solid, what is this, 3 days in a row up, and we are eyeing all-time highs again. Isn't it crazy? Where it's like, oh man, for this whole, like, what was it, the whole month? Crazy, it's kind of bearish, crazy movement, crazy move, oh man, this, and then 3 days later, all-time highs. But that's just the way this market goes. Earnings are going pretty good for companies, and a lot of the concerns about supply side restraints holding companies back are not really showing up in the reported numbers so far. So now treasuries yesterday, they got whacked. I mean, I suppose it was mostly a retracement of the previous day's move, but after we got done trading, so somewhere around here, like, it really turned into a bender, and then on the overnight, it really moved down, and it looks like that a lot of this was just supply side. Man, so the word supply keeps coming up, doesn't it? But the central banks are putting out a lot of supply into the market. We got a 20-year auction today. So that's kind of what's going on over there. And you can see when it happened that we steepened quite a bit. Which is good, because that flattening is not necessarily what we want to see in this situation. If we were like, 10 years into the recovery and you were seeing flattening, that's what I would expect to see. But right now, that 30-year is a little bit high, and we want to see that come down, and we should see steepening. Oil still up there. It's getting close to time to switching that, it seems. NG down. So there are still some concerns about, like, coal, China running out of coal and having to go into gas, and gas supplies being constrained and everything, and all of the problems with that. But for the time being, they still aren't coming out. So now gold and silver trying to make another move up. Silver's doing really good right now, by the way. I mean, I think that it was oversold down here anyways, but and then copper. So let's see what was going on in copper. Oh yes, in copper, somebody at the London Metals Exchange took a ton of copper out. These are guys, they deliver copper, so somebody delivered a bunch of copper, and that apparently is why we were seeing this crazy stuff up here at the top. So cooling off in copper for now, but kind of suggests that again, that might become a hot commodity for a little bit. Oh, copper. When copper runs, man, it's crazy. Bitcoin had that little spike yesterday, and it came back, but then in the overnight, later in the afternoon and into today, they've come up and they are sitting just below all-time highs at 64,685 at this exact moment. The dollar came back yesterday. They were pretty bearish yesterday, down to 93.5, but they've recovered about $0.25 there. So that's kind of where we're at. We do have some, like, Canadian numbers, but not really any super hardcore numbers or anything like that. So that's where we're at today. All right. Am I okay with where the camera's at? I think I am. It's a little bit more to the right. So here's why. Here's what happened, by the way. Thank you, YouTube Finance. Oh, YouTube Finance, you say you got a new MacBook. You mean you ordered a new MacBook, right? Aren't they going out today? I don't recall. I would never use a Mac to trade on, but those desktops look mighty powerful. The Intel is gonna have to respond to that because it ain't nobody gonna be buying Windows laptops after that thing coming out, right? Oh, you bought it and it is the brand new one then, huh? I thought that they didn't go out until like that they didn't even like ship until today. But wow, which one did you get? He says, "Wait, what?" Oh no, I didn't even look. Oh, there's brand new ones, man. Go take it back. Go take it back. Wait a month. Oh, you got the Air. Okay, so it's different. No, they have a new MacBook Pro that they announced on Monday. Was it Monday? I mean, today is Wednesday, right? So it had to have been Monday because it wasn't yesterday. And I think that they shipped today. If you got the Airs, don't worry about it. Nah, they didn't announce a new Air. That it was just a new MacBook Pro. The oh man, it's crazy because like the base model is $2,500. Base model $2,500, and then when you add all of the goodies on it, it can be like $3,500. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? Anyway, so yeah, I moved the camera. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm gonna move over to here. Let me see. I'll wait for the video feed over here to catch up. No, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. It's a little bit more to the right, which I'm okay with. You should be able to see the light board over here better when we get it. So I was like, I remember how I had this whole thing. It was like, oh, I'll just record it from this position. Well, when I did that, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So then I said, well, what if I put the printer over on this table over here, and I go and I can put the camera on the filing cabinet over there, and I can just leave it there all the time. Nah, that didn't work because it's too far away. It's too far away, even with the camera lens zoomed like all the way in. I just didn't like it. And with the lens zoomed in all the way, the aperture size is smaller, so you don't get as much light in. It just didn't work. So I said, screw this. I'm just going to put the teleprompter on the tripod and just record like I've been recording before. And I'll have to set it up every time, and my wife will have to come in and focus the camera, and there's just nothing we can do about it. I might move it closer and use a wider aperture so that she doesn't have to squeeze behind, because I was like putting it right up against the wall. But so that means that I moved the camera back to it just being the camera, and that's why I moved it, and I moved the camera to a spot where when I get the light board up, you'll be able to see the light board really well. But I don't know when that's going to be, because I don't get anything from 80/20 about when they're doing my thing. And when I look at their website, they're like saying it can be up to 40 days. Up to 40 days to cut a piece of steel? Yeah, what? So I might need to rethink that whole thing. Oh, that's curious. And what else we got going on over here? Yep, no, don't see anything from 80/20 again today. The ES looks so calm. Well, I think that today could be another positive day. But yesterday, the first 15 minutes of the treasuries were way more active than they are today. I think that the treasuries were trying to price in the new supply coming into the market, and they did so, and now they're just kind of chilling because it doesn't look like anybody's really doing anything significant. If anything, we've been moving up in the overnight, right? So, and then when we come over and we look at the Treasury, it's been really relatively range bound in the overnight session. So we might have a tough session. I mean, a lot of money tends to get put to work on Wednesdays, but that usually doesn't happen until the ES opens. So this opening period that we have here might just be really tough. Your 2017 Mac Pro died when you were using it in the library. Wow. Well, that lasted a long time, right? My computers have been lasting longer than they used to. Like, I think this one, what was it? I think I got this one like before 2017. I got the video card that I have way before that. This video card has lasted so long. It's quite crazy. I'm really getting to the point where I will have to buy a new machine. I might just save up. All of my Windows machines died after a year for a laptop. You know what? The Windows, well, they've gotten better. It kind of depends on what you're doing. Lenovo's are pretty okay. It's sturdy wise. Asus does an okay job, but you don't have like full aluminum case PC laptops, you know? Hope it's newer than Generation 7. So let's see here. My recollection is that for Windows 11, that you needed to have a second generation Ryzen processor or newer. But then they went back and they said, "Oh no, we're not going to do that." And there was a workaround for you to get the first generation Ryzen processors. So I'm pretty sure that I could get Windows 11 working on this machine if I wanted to. But the things that I've read about Windows 11, it sounds to me like for trading, I don't really get any benefit, and that it's not worth trying to be an early adopter on the Windows 11 front. In fact, I think that for me, I will probably wait for the first service pack. So like one of the things that about Windows 11 that really, really turned me off is that they got rid of the so in Windows, the default option for the taskbar down here at the bottom is that each application only gives you one window. So if there's an application with multiple windows, it doesn't show them all. You have to click on it first and then select which window you want. That's the default behavior. And in Windows 10, you can write, well, you can go into the properties somehow. I think I have to click on somewhere on a taskbar taskbar settings. Right, you have to come over into the settings, and there's a setting about combined taskbar buttons, right? Well, in Windows 11, that option, it's still there. There's a registry hack for it, but it's like not even in the menu. So that alone was like, oh, okay, they are like actively pushing the UI a direction that doesn't work for me. Generation up, 8 and up. No, I have the first generation Ryzen. I have a 1700X. I believe. So it can run it, but it almost wasn't. Yeah. But I mean, it's lasted me a long time, and I have still to this day no performance issues whatsoever. part of that is probably because Ethereum putting this, making all the problems that they've had in the video card market has made it so that the rest of your system, it's not really necessary to upgrade either. So, because if I got a new processor, it would be like 4 times faster. But I may need to, so I'm trying to get something working. Maybe we should do that today. I kind of wonder here, because I'm just not seeing the opportunity at the moment in the treasury, at least. I mean, I could sell it here. We might still see some upside, but I think that the upside is probably somewhat limited. We could go in and try and do the work on this, because I'm trying to get NinjaTrader connected into Python so that I can do like a machine learning kind of thing. And trying to use our RPC calls. So I've seen people post on forums about doing this, but when I really read into it, it sounds like they didn't actually do it. Now, well, I don't know. That might not necessarily be a really good task for doing it on stream, though, because I don't really know much about RPC calls, and figuring it out on stream would probably be really frustrating to watch. It's probably better for me to do it on my own time. Okay, we'll just keep looking at this. But once I get that going, then maybe I'll look back at that and be like, okay, I have like a real reason to buy a really expensive processor again. And then maybe I'll go and build a Threadripper machine. Morning, Norman. Let's see here what we got going on. Ooh, Coolwood saying a couple of things in Discord overnight. Building PCs is so awesome. Yeah, it really is. I would really, I think the thing that is interesting to me, I don't know how to do this. I need to get like a brand manager. The thing is like, I have this one thing where it's like, oh, I could definitely make use of a brand manager, but then it's like those 2 videos, and then what? Then where would you go from there? And hopefully they would have a bunch more stuff. But like the videos that I've done that have been the most successful are more to do with hardware, right? So I think that this kind of machine learning and just trading applications is a really good test of these processors. And if you wanted to test an Intel and an AMD processor directly against each other, this would be a really good application, right? Especially since in NinjaTrader, some parts of it are single threaded and some parts are not. And so it would be very curious to me to see if you took like a top of the line AMD and a top of the line Intel and put them up against each other, which one would perform better. And some of these things that I have on my machine, I have timings built into them so that you can see how long it takes. So I have one algorithm that when you run it, it takes a whole second to process. So, and that's not including the tick replay. When you add the tick replay in there, it's quite some time, right? But I think the NinjaTrader runs tick replay single threaded, so that's where I'm like, it could be interesting. Could be interesting. Putin says we are uninterested in gas price increases. Well, good, because I don't think that anybody is interested in gas price increases, except for OPEC, of course. When you cause and then solve an entire continent's problem. I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm going to take very many trades today, to be honest with you guys. I should be eyeing it here. I will try and keep an eye on it, but I'm not at the moment seeing a ton of opportunity for us in the treasury. I think in the E-mini. In the E-mini, we probably could just buy it and make money at some point, right? Especially with Tesla doing earnings today, right? That's going to be interesting. And they've been pumping it up. I think they must know something about Tesla. But here in the treasury, and then I'm not feeling my best either. I'm having being a little gassy today. Maybe I will open up the RPC call thing. Maybe I will. I can just kind of dink around with it over here. I'll try and keep it off of that screen. Let's see here. Where did I put it? Didn't I make a new folder just for... Oh, maybe I didn't. Okay, ML. Yes. So I got it to include gRPC core and compile, and that's probably half the battle. Quick start. This guide gets you started with gRPC and C# with a simple working example. Okay. They're giving you just some code to use. Through the hello world example, build it, blah, 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 and then run it. So when this is a service, which one will I have being the server and which one will I have being the client? I think that the Python should be the server, right? Okay, let's download this example. Let's see if I can find a spot for it. Oh, why does it? Sorry. Git clone dash help B is the version, is like a version, right? Oh, it opens up a manual page. Dash B name. Yeah, it's pulling out a tag. Why would they want me to pull a specific version of it? Why wouldn't they want me to just pull the most recent version of it? That's kind of weird. And there's commits in this all the time too. Oh wait, we don't want to check out the whole thing. Yeah, I don't want to check out the whole thing. That would be stupid. Examples. Examples. C#. Hello world. Let's just look at the code on GitHub here for a second. So I think we want greeter client, right? It's new channel. Our client greeter, new client, string user yo. Client say hello. Okay. Let's just take that and try and split it up into this. So I'm going to make a, let's put it after the onbar update. Public void init gRPC. Public void destroy gRPC. And then in here, so creating it would be this bit right here. Except for that, I think that these things like the channel and the client should be up here, right? Oh, not the channel, but the client. Okay. Oh. What does that return? Will it tell me here in... Oh, come on. Well, that alone is a problem. That's not going to compile, right? If it's not showing me the IntelliSense, that means that it's not going to compile. Yep. The type or namespace greeter could not be found. Now, did they... Oh, using system. Using system and gRPC core. Well, that's awfully odd. Treasuries come back to the opening price, and the 5-year looks like it's starting to get to know 122 even. Where does that greeter come from? Oh, maybe that greeter is a, you know what? Maybe I'm, yeah, I see. Greeter isn't a part of gRPC. It's just, maybe part of that project. Weren't you on a hunting trip? They thought that Ace went hunting? Just a family vacation, right? I tell everyone where I want, but I don't want everybody to go there. That's funny. It's so that's so the thing in Utah though, isn't it? It's like you can't talk about the best spots because everybody will go there. So there's already too many people out there doing stuff. Wasn't there a way to first of all, it might help if I wasn't in Utah. Oh, I'm not able to. I can't at the moment recall what my GitHub password is. I haven't logged into it because at work we use it at work, and I changed it for work, and I don't remember what I set it to. Oh, I see. They sent me an email. I'm like, I don't. Okay. Nope, that's not the password that I used. Not even close. See, they want me to check out the whole freaking thing. Fine. Seems like a really big code base for me to pulling out the whole thing. How do you trigger the oh, I didn't even turn that on. I didn't turn on my robot either. It should do that. I think it was the dollar sign at the beginning. But I don't remember. Isn't that funny?
Speculator Seth Day Trading says test.
Yeah, it's the dollar sign at the beginning. So it's 600 megabytes they want me to download. That's retarded. You got in a trade, but you already got. You know what? I think that we might have more opportunity when the ES opens. I think that it might be a good idea today to just wait. The market's pretty constrained for the moment. I mean, it's a Wednesday. Tesla earnings are today. I think that the ES could have a good day, but when it's that sort of a play, they don't do very much until the index opens, right? And it was kind of slow in the morning yesterday too. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to move this off screen so that we can still watch the order flow, right? So when I open this up in Visual Studio, where does this come from? Does the solution not build? Oh my gosh. Hold on, wait. Oh, maybe we're okay. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. Greeter client, base channel. It's a new client for a greeter. Go to definition. Hello world grpc.cs. Where is that? Oh, I see. I really hate it when people use var. Oh, I see. So they have gRPC client base. Now they go long. Or do we give up on it? I mean, that's a pretty good movement outside of the range too. Why are you going on about crypto here, Greg? Oh, sorry, I wasn't reading all of the messages. Daniel asks, do you trade crypto at all? I would not recommend day trading crypto. So if you're going to do cryptocurrencies, maybe you can swing. You can kind of play the long game, but I would not recommend trying to day trade them. When you day trade cryptocurrencies, the adverse excursion that you get against you on certain kinds of moves is just so extreme. It's not worth trying to be a market maker over there. You got to be a robot because the liquidity just disappears like that. It's not a very good game for day trading. And yeah, Greg is like, I just hope that crypto goes away. Well, it seems to me like it's still going to be some time before the regulators decide to step in and do something. I think that cryptocurrencies could probably continue to rise for the next few months. And then when we get into the later end of the year, when we have the typical bear season in cryptocurrencies as people take profits for New Year's and that sort of a thing, then maybe we could come down. Unless a regulator or the Department of Justice does something before then. I was thinking that since Bitcoin is testing the all-time high today, I wonder if that would have any impact. Well, I don't think that it's really going to have any impact on traditional markets. But I suppose one of the big, how do I make that go away? There we go. Money flows in and out of crypto does not affect the market. Yeah. It's something that we got to keep an eye on here, though. Okay, so I think I'm seeing here what's going on is that it makes these. Yeah, I see. Oh, how does that work then? So if I just come over here and are you getting the stream lagging a little bit? Yeah, it looks like I did. Here, let's reset it here real quick. Just make sure we don't have another one. It looks like there was a little bit of a network thing. Oh yeah, I'm dropping network frame. What the hell? That's curious. Well, since I already hit a roadblock there with that, couldn't possibly be Visual Studio doing that, could it? It may still be possible to do the gRPC thing, but I might not be able to do it from within the NinjaTrader editor. Now, if I search for about NinjaTrader, the first thing that I see is them complaining about the version of .NET that they're using. What do we do about this? Yeah, now that I've closed Visual Studio, that's gone away. I mean, maybe it was just a temporary hiccup. Well, we got a little bit of movement. I guess we could have picked out 10 ticks, but that would have been tough. Oh, okay. They used .NET 4.8. I am not the only person trying to do this. I think for this to work, I have to be running I can't be trying to build it from within the NinjaTrader editor. I think that I have to create a solution in Visual Studio and do all of the work in Visual Studio. Interesting. So I'll have to look into that further today. It may just not work, because I think that if it worked, that somebody would have said something by now. But I'm kind of thinking like, hey, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You should just connect your Python application directly to CQG or Rhythmic or whatever you're using. By the way, even though we came back to the open on the 10-year, the 30-year moved down quite a bit. So it seems that we're still getting steepening, essentially. What should Facebook's new name be? Wrong answers only. They're going to change the name of Facebook? Is that for real? Facebook plans to change company name to focus on the metaverse. They are really going all in on this metaverse thing. How do I get in on this early? he is like, he wants to completely re-gear the whole company to the metaverse. Hmm. Yeah, I'm a little interested here. The treasury's kind of peeking at the downside. I'm not seeing like super significant volume through this whole area to get down there. So I don't know if that's either you got to ignore it or a strong trend is coming, right? Given the context, I wouldn't rule out another strong trend coming in, like kind of like yesterday. Hmm. Paul Tudor Jones says inflation could be worse than feared and the biggest threat to markets and society on CNBC. Believes that inflation is here to stay, posing a major threat. Trucking industry is short 80,000 drivers. Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity to automate that. Don't you think? Okay, so did you see that? There was a pretty aggressive take there, and somebody pushed it back. And the 20 goes bid again. And stacks. Curious. Oh, very interesting. And where am I seeing the volume? I'm not really seeing the volume anywhere. I do see the 6J kind of pointed down. You know what? Let's roll over oil here. I forgot to do that. Roll over. Ayo says he saw that too. Yeah. You see it like it wasn't necessarily volume that came through. It was just like a big lift both ways. That's really curious. Okay. Oh, okay. So I am seeing oil. That's so because I didn't have update, I wouldn't really see it moving, but oil moved big there. That's probably why we're getting that. So why is oil moving here? Oh, Saudi Arabia says OPEC is powerless to ease the gas prices. Oh, yes, we want to. Man, sometimes my laptop will turn on and it'll try and switch my mouse over there. It's so annoying. I think that was oil. Now, it could be very, very wrong, so... Here's a pretty good place to reset everything. How's everyone been doing in Ace Russell? Well, speaking for everyone is a big job, but we are doing great. I think we're doing pretty good, yeah. Should we go through stock headlines this morning? News Squawk just putting out its before market recap. Facebook up spot 6%, reportedly wants to rebrand. ABT beat on EPS and revenue, raised guidance. ANTM strong earnings and upgraded, up 1.7%. Netflix down negative 2.4%, beat on EPS, revenue, and sub ads, but missed on Q4 EPS view. Verizon posted EPS beat and raised forward year 2021 guidance. And Novavax trouble meeting FDA quality standards for COVID vaccine, down 23.5%. Wow. Novavax, that sucks for them. United Airlines up 1.8%, smaller loss per share than consensus, and COVID Delta variant slowed but did not derail recovery. And BIIB, I don't know who they are, topped expectations on earnings and raised forward year EPS outlook. I remember reading in my morning rundown that the whole thing about them having trouble meeting the standards, and well, I think there was another story about one of the vaccine makers that they're supposed to provide the vaccine to third world countries, and they can't make enough for something like that. Okay, so they just ticked down again at 20. Again, it's not like crazy strong volume, but it's just kind of ticking. Not seeing oil like moving super strong at this exact moment. Oh man, Jay, why did you get out of that? Oh, that's interesting. So the volume is just so low that Jay is taking a lot of small trades, but he caught a pretty good long there.
Block sell.
But he's already getting out of it and trying to flip. Oh, look at that. Oh, whoa. Did you see them just plow through that 19.5? Holy shnikes. That was like the strongest tick I've ever seen. Risk on, says Alligator. This is something else is going on, man. That is not just equity correlation, man. Look at that. Okay, so I'm still not seeing the oil move, but I am seeing the 6J. That was an insane move. I don't think I've ever seen that before, where they tick down immediately. They sell 4,000 contracts through it, and then another 2-3 ticks beyond that. That is like a super hyper aggressive. Wow. Well, the yield didn't move nearly as much as I think it would have. We probably should have, based on all that. YouTube Finance says he bought it. Tony says, I wish I could read an order book like that. Like what we just did there? YouTube Finance says bought it. I hope that doesn't mean that you tried to buy the treasury here. I don't know. Maybe that will work out for you. That kind of a thing does kind of create a vacuum that could constrain us for a while. But there's just got to be something else going on here, right? Oh, the ES. Okay. So you bought the ES. I think that the ES is probably good. I think that it's there's probably like yesterday. I'm worried that ES is going to be like yesterday, where off of the open it's really really tough and choppy, but then ultimately it does turn into a really solid up move day. Oh man, am I having internet problems again? Now my feed screwed up there for a second. I didn't drop any frames on the stream, but I think that little aberration you saw there was probably me and not necessarily CQG. Yeah, look at that. Come on.
Connection lost.
Oh, Ninja Trader lost its connection. This is really weird. I am still hearing the squawk. You guys are still there? You can still hear me? Say something, please, guys. Seems a little seller in FDAX, new bottom. What's wrong with my CQG? Okay, you guys are there. Oh, my CQG won't connect. Connecting. Okay. That makes me feel a little better. It's going to take a little bit for everything to get back up to speed, right? Well, who should we blame for this one, huh? I haven't had something like this happen. Well, I don't think I've ever had something quite this bad. I mean, given that we had a little bit of a network hiccup earlier, that would make me think that it's me. But like everything else seems to be working fine other than my data feed. Yeah, my network seems fine. Okay. So remind me, where was the big old fatty order 19 half? Okay. We miss. Well, the treasuries had a precipitous fall there, and then my data feed had issues. So, and it's still coming back here. Okay, I think we're good now, though. Of course, not nearly as good of a price as we had in the 10-year there. So that kind of sucks. But the 10-year yield did not move as far as it should have. I think they probably, given that we just fell like what? We were like 20 half, so we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It should have been all the way up here at like one spot 652, but it lagged a little bit. And now Discord has given me issues. I do see the 6J stabilized there too. I do think that what we saw there was because of the Japanese yen. Okay, we're back. Yeah, it's got to be something wrong with my connection. I don't think there's anything on my network, so it must be my ISP having issues. Which is quite rare because I have a very reliable ISP, but that sucks. We had a lot of people watching too. Hey, we're still okay here though. Kind of sucks that I'm not getting data for the 5-year. Oh boy. We got a few good ticks there, and then it fell back into the hole again. Look at the E-mini go, though. Woo. Well, that sucks. I think that Jay should have been long. But he wasn't able to take it because of the connection issue. He got turned off. I should have bought the E-mini. It's fine. I own stocks. I don't really want to put risk on E-minis right now, though. I probably should have done it like discretionarily if I wasn't having the connection issues. Maybe I would have. But I'm really more focused on what I'm doing here in the treasuries. I've been doing really well with it, and I think that I have a much better edge over here in the treasuries than I do over in the E-mini. Most of what goes on in the E-mini is random. I mean, we did say, hey, when they open, I think that we'll probably still have another good day. So I think that we had an okay informational edge today in E-minis, but it's just not to the point right now where I'm really confident in putting a lot of risk in E-minis. Maybe if I had a much larger account, but it was like yesterday, had like 4 in a row, and then we did catch a long, and we did finally catch the run, right? It didn't make up for the losses. It almost did. I think that yesterday net, it was still down $30. So you can just kind of see, like, I'm just joking. Well, yeah, but clearly you hit a nerve, didn't you? I'm very self-conscious about the fact that I just don't perform as well on the ES as I would like. But it's okay. It's okay. Anyways, we recovered a lot of it yesterday, but didn't completely overwhelm, right? For me to feel confident about taking trades in the ES again, I gotta get rid of these situations where I have like 5 losers in a row. Like, statistically, that's going to happen, but it happens to me too much. Well, on that note, how much further could the E-mini go? Are they already through? They already mostly done it? The Squid Game shows why most people don't make money trading. Ah. Okay, so it shows that the first fixed level is 4537. So they might still have some upside to go. Yeah, I own some stocks. So my stocks have been mixed. I'm actually really impressed with how well my allocation in the stocks have gone, because I've had one or two stocks that have done very, very poorly, very, very poorly, and then the other ones have done really, really well. And okay, what's this? Oh, that's just telling me that. It's just telling me that now the antivirus is having trouble connecting to stuff. The stream may go offline again. Just to warn you. I hope it does. Just stay here. You can hit refresh on YouTube. Hey, Bup. It's unfortunate because we had a pretty good stream going here before we started having the connection issues, didn't we? Had something super interesting going on in the treasuries and had a good number of people watching. This is really disappointing. And I'm still not able to get this to give me the 5-year. What about the dollar over here? What's the dollar doing? Okay. Need more volume at a higher price. It does look like they've probably run into the limits of their impacts so far. So, and they might back up. There might be a little bit more bigger waves today than usual. Is Bitcoin now 66? Oh yeah, there's a big move in Bitcoin here. Since maybe the last 15 minutes. The last 30-minute candle has been really strong. Yeah, I don't know how far they go. The question is, how far do they get? So all these people, they want Bitcoin to reach 100,000. I think that it's pretty clear at this point that Tether is manipulating Bitcoin. I mean, we have all the, oh man, did you guys see that Hindenburg, that notorious short selling fund out there, was offering $1 million for anybody with information about Tether's holdings? No joke. And I think for $1 million, I think that, well, then you might need to ask for more than $1 million, but I think that they'll get the information that they want. And the faster they go up, the harder it might come down later. Yeah. So I'm just trying to establish, we have had a lot of information come out about Tether lately because of the CFTC doing their investigation and Bloomberg putting out an article. So I have 100% confidence now. Like before, it was like, well, it seems like something weird is going on, and the best explanation that I can come up with is that somebody's manipulating the market, and probably the best theory for who that is Tether. But now it's practically a fact. we know that they've been unbacked and that they're lending money to exchanges and using it to pump the price up, right? So, given that, it basically comes down to what does Tether want, right? Well, like when I hear the price targets that people put out there and what the cryptocurrency market wants, because I think that really it comes down to like keep the crypto traders happy. Anytime there's a dip, you come in and support price to help them out and this and that. So if that's the case, I think they want 100,000, right? I think they want 100,000, and that's probably where Tether is going to try and take it, unless somebody steps in and stops them first. We'll see, though. That's still, even with the ability to print as much money as you want, that's a really big lift, right? And then, like Captain Price says, the faster they go up, the harder it might come down later. Yeah, if you really leave a big liquidity wake behind you. Like the thing is, in cryptocurrencies, there's a lot more people looking to buy it down below us than there are looking to sell it up above us. But once you get through those guys, it's like, woo, there's not much below that, right? But I think that if it happens this year, and it may not happen this year, to be honest with you, like thinking about the timing, it might not happen this year. But when it does happen, I think it'll probably be worse than that. I think that it'll probably be like all of the exchanges will just be straight up closed. Because, at that point, if it comes down to that, you won't be able to trade Tether. So all of the exchanges that are based largely on Tether, like Binance and Bitfinex, they're gone, right? All of a sudden there's way less volume, and all of a sudden there's a quarter of the volume in the cryptocurrency market as there was because some exchanges are just kaput. Yeah, the downside could be really, really ugly. So it's a real game of chicken, isn't it? It's like, that it's going to go up in the short term, but you're going to... what was this? I think there was an episode of Pinky and the Brain where the brain uses his mecha suit to become a surfer, and he's going to take advantage of the young youth by becoming their leader, and then they're going to support his political movement or whatever. And some guy who's like the top surfer there, some Chad, kind of challenges him for supremacy or whatever. And so they decide to have a surfboard game of chicken where they're both surfing towards this rock, and whoever bails first is the loser. And so the Chad, he totally chickens out and jumps off the thing, but then the brain crashes into the rock, and so they all think, oh no, the brain is just really stupid. Right? Think of it like that. That's what we're doing now at this point, right? Is everybody's in on the crypto wagon, and how far is it going to go before it crashes into the rocks? Except for that, you don't know when it's going to crash into the rocks, right? So it's like, you get out, the earlier you get out, the more of a guarantee you will have that you will keep your money. But the longer you stay in, the more money you'll make, but the higher chance you have of just completely losing everything. Right? But another apt description of this, though, I was talking about this the other day on Twitter, is it's like musical chairs, because the money doesn't exist, right? The money that they have used to pump Bitcoin up to the prices that it is today to gain the acceptance that it has today does not exist. They're saying that they're using dollars, but they're dollars that don't exist. They made the dollars, they printed them in Tether, and they don't exist. So when Tether goes kaput and everybody tries to go out and take their profits, not everybody's going to be able to because there's not enough dollars out there for everybody to get out. So it's like a game of musical chairs where there's like 100 participants and there's only 5 chairs. And guess what? The 5 people that sit down first when the bad news hits are going to be the ones that get out and make money, and everybody else is going to be screwed. And you'll think, oh, well, it'll come down and maybe I'll lose 50%, but I'll still make money on that. No. I mean, so I've seen this before, and particularly with Mt. Gox, because I remember Mt. Gox. I remember those. I remember there was this guy at work, and he was just absolutely enamored with cryptocurrency, and he left because at that time you couldn't own cryptocurrencies working there. And he went into Mt. Gox. So I think he probably put a significant portion of his money down into it. And yeah, you lost everything if you were in Mt. Gox, right? You lost everything. Fun to look at. But for now, they're above 6,600 though. I wouldn't even doubt you could maybe even get to 70,000 today. Probably not, though. I think that 66, 67 is probably appropriate for today. One thing, though, is that it seems like some of the volume comes in later in the day in cryptocurrencies, so probably they're not done. Man, what do I got to do to get the 5-year over here? Well, they seem to have settled on 19, and they want to fill out 19 because look at the it's unusual to see this situation here in the 10-year where a lot is traded at 19.5 and a lot is traded at 18.5, but not that much is traded at 19.5. Do you think that they'll fill it in? I don't know. It will be interesting to watch. There you go. So this guy was talking about, well, so Scott Adams had this tweet that, it doesn't make sense that we're having all these supply chain issues. Actually, yes, it does, because there's more demand. And so this guy says the issue is that a lot of drivers did not return to work. That's the issue, period. So the ones we do have are overworked, and there aren't enough drivers to move all the product in timely manner to meet demand. Pretty simple. Well, a lot of them, they don't. It's right now, driving is not a very good game because you have to wait so long at the port and stuff like that. You can't do as many jobs. But I think that the bigger view here is that when the supply chain becomes constrained and overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that's coming through, I think some people have this tendency to think that, oh, well, there's more stuff coming through, but that means that they'll work even harder and they'll be able to increase their ability to push things through. And maybe that happens in the long run, but in the short run, having all of that stuff come through and having to deal with so much stuff coming through makes you less efficient. And so not only are we just being overwhelmed by the demand, but the supply chain itself becomes less efficient when it gets swamped like that. And you can just see that across the board. So 18.5 took offer again, but they're not stacking very much on it. They're not willing to put much liquidity either way on that one. That's interesting. Like lately, the Treasury has been willing to at least put like 800. But, 400 is a little better. But for some of these periods, like, look, it's only 300, 200. I wonder if those really short-term inside bots kind of didn't like that quick move down and just stopped playing that game. And that's why you're not seeing very many of them stacking on the way that it ticks. They're too worried about the adverse excursion to try and get a spot in line. Well, by the way, the 30-year come back down to the bottom. So if we start seeing takes at 29, then that could result in another swift move. Okay, so there was a pretty decent hit at 29, but that didn't clear it. China Evergrande has announced that a $2.6 billion stake sell in its property services unit has failed. Political's Sherman. After speaking to House Representative Pelosi, we asked her about a framework this week, and she said, I think it's very possible we've been on schedule for every deadline for the budget and coming out of the budget committee, and we continue to be on schedule. Okay. Presenting Tether, a company under the U.S. Department of Justice criminal investigation for bank fraud that has been caught lying about their so-called reserves for years. A company that has lost over $910 million to seizures and fines over the years. Is there really $910 million in fines? On the Tether situation. I'm thinking about Tether so much. I haven't been talking about it on stream as much. Hey, NASDAQ trader, how are you? Hey, you weren't DOSing me earlier, were you? Because I was having all sorts of connection issues, man. It was a little frustrating. And then it kind of killed the stream, and it's been fine now, but... Anyways, that they've had so many problems. Tether has, and all of, I really, how would you do business with a company like that, even with the loans and stuff. Like how could you trust them? There's no way. But we continue to see like massive amounts of money print in there. I think that in and of itself is probably the best sign, the best piece of evidence that we have that they're literally just printing dollars to gun up the market. What? I am computer illiterate? Then how do you so I suppose that you don't have to be a genius to go and make a bunch of different YouTube accounts. No, but you've sent dozens before. How did that happen? I don't know. It's probably just my ISP having a hiccup. He calls his broker to place trades today. You know what's something I find interesting about this generation of traders, investors, whatever. Well, like the thing is it used to be like as early back as the 80s and 90s. Your broker would call you up with ideas, right? Like I think that in Peter Lynch's book, he talks about, your broker will call you up and say, hey, we have this stock that we think you should invest in. Do you want it? And he says, like, never take those. You never do the trades that your broker comes in and recommends to you, because they don't get paid based on how much money you make. They get paid on whether you buy the stock or not. And so they're just there to try and convince you to buy stocks. Well, that still exists. Like your broker doesn't call you up, but instead what they do is they have social media influencers, and they pay the social media influencer to gin up the stock and make the stock look good, And because people don't have to call their broker to place trades, and it's like the role of the broker, especially in the futures industry, is like really muddled now. Like what really does your broker do in the futures industry if it's the FXCM that's really doing the execution and the data provider is really providing the data? Like really the only thing that the broker is there for anymore is introducing you to those other parties, essentially, and connecting you together and handling support for it, and like that's it. So like you make money at being a broker, but like you can see it's a tough game. There's like a dozen different futures brokers out there, and it's like cutthroat competition for commissions, because like what else matters other than the commissions, We don't see that, and so because we don't see that, we don't see the influencer for what it is. But these people on social media, they're the same thing. They're there to make you buy, and they don't care whether you make money or not. Oh, just setting ad channel. Okay. If you bring me now a better data feed, I would subscribe to it. Well, why haven't you tried trading technologies? I thought that, so I really liked that video that you sent me. It wasn't, you kind of gave me the impression that it was directly comparing the two data feeds, but it looked like it was really more connecting Sierra charts. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, NASDAQ Trader. I'm glad. I kind of went back because when the first time that I had felt like I needed to get rid of you, like I wasn't happy about it. And then I was really mad about, being harassed for so long and stuff. But I was really happy that like I was able to work through that and be able to provide you useful advice. Which one, mine? No. You linked the YouTube video. Yeah. For a channel from some guy that was mostly doing interactive brokers. Yeah. Now on yours, let me go back and look at that actually, because I don't remember what was the deal with the one that you sent. Oh, you responded to he's comparing CQG and Rhythmic in the platform you did so. Now he's using Sierra's new Denali, and he is trashing CQG, which he used to praise, but he never compared Denali to CQG, but I did. Okay, so for this one, here, I'll show you guys. If I can... Oh, I think I have to download it to be able to show it to you guys. It's just because the issue is that there's the platform and there's the data feed, and those are both separate components, right? So if you're going to compare data feeds, you need to have the ability to connect one platform to both data feeds and show them both, so that you know that the differences that you're seeing between the two of them are from the data feed and not the platform, right? Yes. Okay, so I think the thing was on yours is they were different. So like one of the problems that I have is that because I'm not seeing the volume in there, because seeing the volume trait, like when there was a sweep like that and it came back, seeing the volume trait there, that's like a key thing that I'm going to be looking at to kind of judge where they are, rather than just whether it ticked and moved, right? That's the highest performance setting on our trader too. Could be. Well, like I think one of the things might be that the CQG trader itself, the application might be faster, because when you run it through the bridge and everything else, they're practically the same. But like that's the bigger issue I have that I see here is like in trying to compare them is like, how do we compare them on an empirical basis? Because I could come in and I could look at them and I could say, okay, in that particular instance, Rhythmic moved before, or sorry, CQG moved before Rhythmic. It does appear that they're at points, particularly when there was this down sweep here, or can I go back? It's also it doesn't help that it keeps centering. That doesn't help either. It looks like this moved before this one or whatever. Okay. But like, if we do that over a month, is that always hold? Does that always hold true for a whole month? You know, I can only look at like that one instance. Also moved more, which is important. Yeah. I would say like my little indicator where I identified prices that like just straight up didn't trade. I have seen that triggered less on CQG than I did on Rhythmic, but it's also that was in the summer, so I don't know if that was the time or if it was the difference between the data feeds. It's better to look at time and sell. Oh, that actually would be a good, really great idea, TLA trader. So to come in and say, because if you have time and sells, then you should get the timestamps, and then you would be able to look at the orders between the two platforms, and you would see that they would have different timestamps. That's a really good idea. And then you could, it would be way easier to do an empirical study on that, because you could like run it all day and calculate that the average difference between the two feeds. Hey, maybe we should do that. So for that, you're going to kind of have to have two accounts to be able to do it. I don't know if I want to go through all that. But that's where I get to like, okay, if I have to go through that much effort to tell the difference between the two data feeds, then the difference is really not relevant to what we're doing, right? Maybe if you're high frequency trading, I don't know if it matters or not, but yeah. Could be that our trader is a slow platform not doing justice to Rhythmic, but that guy did them on the same platform. Yeah. If it's a matter of swing or scalping. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, that's what we're kind of saying, HF. But I do have to say, trading technologies, data feed, there's something different about it. And when if you were to connect Jigsaw up to TT and watch it and then have a CQG next to it, you would immediately see the difference. It's like you can actually, when like price ticks up, you can literally see all of the robots scramble in and fill it up. It doesn't just like tick down and all of a sudden it's 600. You can actually see it like accumulate really quickly. It's really weird. It is different. The trading technologies one. But I already used my trial with them. You know what I'm doing now? Actually, you know what you guys could help me with is I'm trying to make a comparison of all of the different brokers. The right feed might depend on what you want to see TT as options data. Okay. TT has a really great feed though. I mean, that's just facts. So when I started going out and trying to find all of the information about the different brokers, like which brokers support which data feeds and what are their commissions and margins for the main instruments. So you have one big spreadsheet that just shows them all compared, right? And what I realized was that all of the brokers have basically moved over to not showing their commissions directly on their website. Like you have to send them an email or whatever to get what the commissions are. Isn't that lame? So now I'm going to have to go to every single one of these brokers and give them my contact information so that they'll show me what their commissions and margins are. And then they'll probably all call me because they do call, which is okay. I like talking to them. Yep, HF says NT doesn't provide Rhythmic. That's what I said in my video. And yes, you're right. Is there any other one that only provides one and not the other? I don't know. I was really disappointed when I got switched over to using NinjaTrader as my FCM, and they said, "Oh, we don't have Rhythmic on the NinjaTrader FCM," even though they kind of told me that after they switched that then I'll probably be able to get it. They lied to me. They deceived me. I don't know if I would have gone over to NinjaTrader had I known. I don't know if it's a huge deal to me now or not. HF, I had to do the same. Yeah, it's really sucks, right? Yeah, I mean, if CQG had a bridge sort of a thing like Rhythmic does, then it would be no problem, right? But I don't think they're gonna do that. If not for the platform, I wouldn't stay with them. Yeah, well, like for me on NinjaTrader, granted, I have a lot of cool stuff. I mean, look at the charts, I think that this inventory cost basis is really something else, and I really like using it. I like super smoothers. Those are great. And being able to see spreads is really important too, right? Being able to see spreads is really important. Being able to see the dollar index is really important. So those are all of kind of the things that I'm using the NinjaTrader for that I can't get from Jigsaw. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get some of those things from Jigsaw. But it also sounds like that we might, so I'm just going to, I'm going to try and get out of this here. Since it really just didn't run the way that I wanted it to. Yeah, and now they're going to squeeze me for it, aren't they? That's fine. Would you recommend another platform which can be coded, Sierra Charts perhaps, or TradeStation? Well, like, here's the thing, is that like Sierra Charts and TradeStation don't really solve the problem, does it? In fact, because the problem is really that NinjaTrader is basically set up now to only work with NinjaTrader brokerage, and NinjaTrader brokerage doesn't offer you everything that you want. Well, Sierra Charts and TradeStation are also going in that direction, and it's like way worse. It's like way worse over there. So I don't think that moving to those other problems really solves the issue. And I'm starting to think that the only way that the issue will be solved is that like Jigsaw will go that route. Like I'm really wondering. I don't think that HS says really, yeah, Sierra Charts is becoming more and more proprietary. Like they have their own data feed, right? They have their Denali data feed, right? They basically have like their own brokerage. So like you can connect Jigsaw to it, I guess, but like, will it really give you more flexibility? Not really. Because like, here's the thing. When it comes to programming, I could just directly connect my application to their API. To do it with Rhythmic, I think you have to spend like $100 or something like that. But I could just connect it directly to their API, right? So, you know, it may be that the solution ends up being that Jigsaw adds some sort of bridge out of Jigsaw to your own Python or whatever, and then run something in there. What API? Well, so like if I want to do Rhythmic, if I want to write an application in Python and connect that directly to Rhythmic, then I basically have to pay for their RAPI Plus, which is $100 a month. And I don't want to do that right now. Like right now, I want to see what I can do just trading micro treasuries and see if I can like cover the costs. It seems like I can, but it's really close. I think that right now I'm barely covering costs. Although this week hasn't been very good. I made like $10 Monday, and I think I lost 6, and then I just lost 3 or 4 there. So I'm probably down 2 ticks on the week once you put in the commissions. Whereas the past weeks I got like, you know, I had like $20, $30, $40 winners at some of those points, and that's what got me there. So that's tough. It really sucks that they didn't have any continuation off of that trade. I kind of knew that there was a possibility that they weren't going to do that, but I didn't take it off because they never really gave me the opportunity to get out. Let's see here. If we come over here into Jigsaw. I need to uncheck that so that I can see the micro treasury trades. I might need to restart Jigsaw. I think that it didn't react well to the data feed going out. Okay, so I got in at 1.639. So I got in here. You can see 1.649. Like it went offer, but nobody traded it. So I don't think that I would have gotten filled. You ain't sitting here for those 2 digits. No, I'm actually quite enjoying it. I know it sounds really dumb, like, you're never gonna make any serious money doing that. Well, like we size up later, right? We size up later, but right now it's just like, let's just go in and be consistent and pay the commissions, and because to me the money doesn't really matter. I mean, I have a day job that I make plenty of money doing that, right? I'm more interested in getting good at trading and just continuing to be able to trade. Because what really sucks is you blow the account and then you have to go and find more money. I hate doing that. And I've done that before, right? So doing this, it's like, you know, if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world and you recover. And it's way less stressful. It's way less stressful to me. You just took off a couple of decimals. What do you mean? You're talking about when I was talking about my trade, because I got in at 639. It traded 649. It didn't trade it, but it went offer. Now they coming back. I mean, is them trading 20 a big deal? I think they definitely saw that I was getting out and squeezed me a little bit there. I mean, it might not have been that somebody's watching the stream, but it's just if it knows that people got in there and they can put it offer for a little bit. Would the NQ push higher? Based on our VIX numbers, they've still got a little bit to go. In the ES, that they'll get up to 37. Kind of suggests that there could still be 10 points in it today. Although when you look at this move, this kind of looks like the options gamma push again. Okay, what are the margin requirements? So for the micro 10 year, here, let me pull up my spreadsheet. I haven't even tried to look for NinjaTrader. I only looked for AMP. So AMP is offering in the 10-year maintenance margin is 175 and day trade margin is 43.75. So you only need $175 to be able to hold it overnight per contract, right? Like there's so much more flexibility with them. Although it's in that flexibility and the ability to hold it overnight is where I've screwed myself up. So what did you just say about options? I don't think I said anything about options. Oh, no. The VIX range estimate for today is 45.37. So that means that based on what options are pricing will be the average move, that would take us to 45.37. And based on the way that they're moving and their trajectory, it looks quite likely that they'll get there today. Their grain margin stinks big time. There is none. So let's see if I can find NinjaTrader's margins. Oh, will I go have on my position at 37 then? Well, there you go. That would probably be a great trade. No, maybe if I'm logged in. Okay, so for the micros, basically, I mean, you could really go down into like cents, but basically it's equal to a tick, right? Just always assume that you lose a tick on a micro trade. That's why sometimes you'll see that I prefer to take it off at $11 instead of 10. I forget where you have to go to like even log in on NinjaTrader. Oh, there it is. It's just on the top. NinjaTrader clearing. View margins. Okay. Let's do this. Yes. Okay, so for NinjaTrader, initial margin is 12,650. So that's a little higher than AMP. And day trade margin is 500. Wonder why the maintenance margin is different. Maybe it's just because one is more up to date than the other compared to what the exchange is. Okay, and then when I get into micros, the day is 50, and the maintenance margin is, or the initial margin is 1265. 1265. And let's just like open it up like that. Okay. All in rates for I don't think that that's a round turn, is it? Okay, what does one that includes 15 cents per futures contract routing fee. Use of Rhythmic includes a 25 cent. Is it really $1.99 per side? Is it really per side? Let's come in here and look in NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader commissions lifetime. ES per unit commission. In my NinjaTrader it says 1.94. So that is just per side. So round turn, then that means that NinjaTrader is 3.98, right? Yeah. So it would be $2. It would be $4 minus 10 cents, 2 cents, 3.98 for lifetime. Round turn. Okay, so then that means MES. Oh, lifetime is only 0.51. Yeah, but it's 102. It's 102 after all that. Yeah. That's correct. Yeah. I mean, in any of these cases, you could negotiate with them for sure. Okay. NQ. Intraday is 1,000. That's the same. And the initial is 18.7. And the no, NQ 1.99. Okay, so it's the same. 3.98. And the same with this, it's 102. And the maintenance margin for them 1700. Oh, it's the same. 1700 and 100. Okay. So that's the same as AMP. And we come down here to the 10-year. Okay, so 1.51. That's 302, right? Yeah. That is on a lifetime license. Wow. The NinjaTrader commissions are more. I thought that they were almost the same as AMP, but they are actually quite a bit more. Well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's quite a bit more, but you get what I mean. So it's more than I expected it to be, we should say. Okay. Man, AMP is really way more generous with the commissions, ain't it? Now they don't. Oh no, they do. They do have these ones. Okay. So here, day margin 50 and 175. Okay. 50 and the 0.56 times 2 would be 112, right? I haven't been including ZB on the other one, but I should. So I was saying that I should rather. So 1 point. Oh, no, wait. Do I have these back? This is 1.51. So that's 102. This one is 102. And this one is 112. $1,000 for the intraday. Initial 38.50. 38.50. And the 30-year 0.56. Oh, wait. Oh, that's funny. And this is 3.12. $220 and $100. You say your amp with arrhythmic is 0.88 around turn plus 25 per month. So whether you're using rhythmic or CQG based on the statutes I was looking at was different, but they got 0.8. Their sheet that I looked at yesterday was giving you 0.84. So if you're getting 0.88, okay. I haven't gotten into the data fees, but I'm kind of assuming that the data fees are pretty much going to be the same for most of them. So I don't know. Is that? Why is it? Oh, just because they're dollars. I don't need that to be in a format as a currency necessarily. Yeah, enter like that. I wonder why that one formatted as a currency, not that one. I suck at micros, take too much risk at first. It really, when you have to get that extra tick just to pay for the commissions, it does make a difference. It does kind of have to change the way that you trade. But on the same token, like if you have the micros and your ability to like take a trade, you're able to take more risk on a trade, more price risk on a trade. So like, why would you even want to do that, right? Like you should want to be taking like a more of a swing, generally speaking. So anyways, so can you believe I want to do that for 14 brokers, 12 more left. I'm kind of surprised there though that for like ES, they've got AMP has a 28 cent edge on Ninja Trader. They have a 28 cent edge on Ninja Trader. That's way bigger than I thought it was. Ninja Trader has this deal where you get commission rebates though, so there's that. The interesting thing though is that your broker you can negotiate with your broker, right? So like then at that point, like what is the difference between them? If they support the platform and the data feed that you want, and you got two of these guys, what's the difference between the two of them, right? Seems to me like you just picked the one where the sales guy that you talked to you liked more. You know what I mean? Well, so as we're watching it here, there was we had that little move up that I decided to bail on. They're back to where they were. I was still, oh man, I was a 639. That sucks. Or maybe I should have held it. I'm wondering though, because what we've been seeing a lot of lately is that in the 9:30 time period, they move more. So will the treasury move more after I'm done? We'll see. Haven't really. So you know what? I think that some of my feeds aren't, because like my 6J is not correct. Let's see here if I just tell it to reload all historical data, maybe. And I never fixed the 5-year either. Yeah, because my 6J chart is missing like an hour's worth of data. Anyways, I kind of wonder with the way that brokers are moving, if at some point Jigsaw is just like, well, we'll just have to become our own broker. Like, I don't think that Peter would ever want to do that, but maybe he gets forced to. I don't know. Greg uses Sierra. Well, they do have a bridge for Sierra too, right? This thing I'm reading here, they're talking that the squid game is like beginner's luck turns to attribution bias. So the few people that survive at the beginning, all of a sudden they think that it's because they're smart, when it's really that was mostly luck. See, there you go. Greg says it. Sierra is starting to be a pain, not supporting other data feed providers. Yeah. Sierra is good. I would consider it if I changed from NT. Well, I think for me that if I have the ability, like, here's the thing. I got this robot going on a sim account. It's doing okay. I think that he needs a lot of work. If I were to try trading him again, I think I would probably put him on Combine. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have the robots trade my live account. So I'm kind of questioning whether it was the right decision to go over to NinjaTrader for that, because I'm doing it for a feature that I'm not sure I'm actually going to use. Plus, there's like all of the license features, which I could probably be okay with. But like the thing is that if that feature was moved off, if I was able to get that feature from within Jigsaw, then I may just move over to a world where I just use Jigsaw and deal with not having those toys. I mean, what other choice? You know, that's what I'm thinking. So then I would go, I'm not sure I want to be at AMP again. But it's like, okay, so we go to Edge Clear and I just use Jigsaw. Like that's what I'm thinking. But Edge Clear ain't Java. Why are you saying that? I actively avoid using Java. Let me tell you something. The Java ecosystem at the current time, if they don't change something, the Java ecosystem is on the way out. Yeah. Why? Well, so Microsoft C# does everything that Java does, but better. And the only thing that Java really had on C# that I think led to a lot of people using Java in the beginning was like the cross-platform support and everything. And so then what Microsoft did is they made versions of C# for Linux. So now there's in my mind, there's really no reason to use Java over C#. Absolutely none. Unless there's like a specific library you want to use in Java, or you've already been using Java. You know what I mean? And the biggest problem that I think that the Java ecosystem has is that dealing with libraries is not done very well over there. So on Windows, you've got like DLLs, right? And so you can just pass the DLL and it's fine. Java, there's a lot of problems with that. And so to really do on an enterprise level, to really do Java on an enterprise level, you have to have complicated build systems. And, you know, like there's Ant, for instance. Ant is notoriously picky and just a pain to work with. And there are some other things that seem to make it better. I think you can use Gradle with Java, and that kind of helps. But dependencies in Java and you can just get caught in dependency hell over there so often. Whereas C# does that really, really well, right? So what you're starting to see more and more is people drop Java. Some of the really hardcore Java adherents have been moving over to like related things. So like there's I forget what it's called, but there's another language that's basically like it still compiles down to Java and runs on the Java virtual machine. But the problem with that one, you can't really use that for enterprise stuff because like everything has to be compiled from source, and because the runner can basically change every new version of the operating system. So it's like if you're in an enterprise, you have to recompile everything from source every day, or every 6 months that there's an update. Yeah, no. So that one doesn't work. Really, the only thing keeping Java going is that you use Java for Android. That's really the main thing keeping Java going. Now, for our perspective in the trading space, like everything has just gone Python, man. I guess I would have gotten filled there if I had stuck with my original trade. Oh well, there could be some more downside, but it certainly doesn't make sense for me to try and take it now. I'm going to be closing the stream down, so that's just an oh well. I have no clue on Python. Well, the good thing about Python is that it's quite possibly the simplest language to learn how to use. But oh man, the all of the machine learning stuff, they're doing it in Python. So think about that. Is there a futures trading platform where you program in Python? There isn't. Like really, NinjaTrader is in C#. That's super great. Sierra Charts is C++, which is great if you really want to try code in C++, but it's a lot more work. And then you've got all these other ones that are in Java, right? The platform that EdgeClear has, that's Java. Bookmap, that's Java. Have you worked in custom bars type development? Yeah, a little bit. I'm struck at adding custom property for inputs and data. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to get out. Not sure what you're trying to accomplish. Working with those matters very, very much what you want to do with it. Is EdgeClear? Well, what's the name of their platform? Edge Pro X. I'm pretty sure that Edge Pro X is Java. Pretty confident. And I forget what it's based on. Seems like an okay platform. See, that's where it's like, oh, okay, you could go over there, but then we use Edge Pro X and that wouldn't work, like it really, we just got to get to the point where we can just only use Jigsaw and then go wherever we want because we like them. The EdgeClear guys, they're nice to me. Could go to Optimus Futures too. I mean, I pay more. You probably pay way more. And actually, can I see commissions over there? Optimus Futures. I gotta get going. Yeah, maybe we'll pull it up tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, stay profitable.